Tyler Durden is real. He's in all of us. He's in here. And he's stopping us from becoming the best, most powerful versions of ourselves. Tyler Durden is all of our darkest aspects. Now, you might have learned to love those parts of yourself, to celebrate them. You might see those parts of yourselves as powerful or cool, but those parts of our psyche are self-destructive, and they're ruining our lives. It's your most important task in this lifetime to find and destroy Tyler Durden in your own mind. I'm talking about our shadow self, the deepest parts of our personalities that we hide from ourselves. The parts of ourselves about which we are in denial. Our shadow selves are ruling our behavior. And they're even changing our perspectives on humanity and the rest of the world. Your shadow can literally change the way you see reality. And a lot of the time, you don't have any control over it. We all have parts of our egos and our personalities about which we have very little self-awareness. We all struggle to see ourselves for who we really are. Our insecurities, our fears, even our arrogant expectations of the world. The deepest parts of our ego, all the terrible parts of ourselves about which we are in denial, all culminate in our shadow self. All of those negative qualities of ourself live in our shadow. Now, you're fully aware that you have negative qualities of your personality that you're not proud of. Yes. But there's more to it than that. I'm not just saying that there are things you're saying or doing that you can't control. I'm saying that there's an entire version of yourself that you don't even know exists. You can't even see them. You have to start thinking of those negative qualities of yourself as a separate persona all in of itself. Tyler Durden. Or whatever you want to name yours. You can call yours whatever you want. The thing is, the reason this is important is other people are fully aware that this other version of you exists. There are lots of people in your life that are fully familiar with your shadow self because your shadow is having a negative effect on their lives. Other people are spending time navigating and battling the negative aspects of your personality. Other people in your life are fighting against your darker instincts. This hidden, darker version of yourself is embarrassing the hell out of you every time it surfaces and is destroying your life. We are all being secretly humiliated by our subconscious, by our fears, desires, and insecurities. And it's helpful to think of our shadow or the darker aspects of our personality as a separate version of us for a couple of reasons. One, other people in our lives probably already see these darker aspects as an other side of our personality. Two, it makes it a lot easier to find and address these individual issues in our own personality, as well as distance ourselves from them. And three, we kind of have to learn to develop a relationship with these darker shadow aspects of our personality and learn to integrate them back into ourselves. We have to heal from this. We have to heal from all of the traumas that caused these darker aspects to manifest in the first place. And we have to learn to love our shadow self, which is maybe the hardest part to do because most of us are living in denial that we're even capable of demonstrating those negative qualities in the first place. Self-awareness is hard. I mean, hell, a lot of people watching are probably angry at me by this point in the video for saying this. Some of you might feel like I'm attacking you or accusing you of being a bad person or something. Maybe you feel like I'm trying to convict you of your shitty behavior. But that's your shadow self reacting that way. That's your ego protecting you. This is a self-defense mechanism we create that protects us from having to address our own personal issues. That anger you're feeling is your subconscious mind stopping you from looking inwards and seeing the parts of yourself that you hate, the parts that make you uncomfortable. And it's also stopping you from seeing the pain that caused those issues in the first place. A lot of those negative qualities that we hold on to were created as a coping mechanism, and our ego is set to defend and even celebrate those negative qualities in ourselves because we learned through our experience that we survived because of those qualities. That's usually why we learn to be proud of those aspects. A lot of our identity is tied up in our shadow self, which is why it feels so important to us. Trust me, that's normal. I'm not passing any judgment on you. This is something that we all have to deal with. We all have to battle with our shadow. This is an aspect of everybody's ego that developed as a form of self-preservation to help navigate through negative experiences in our life. But the shadow self, these darker aspects, don't just manifest in people who have had difficult lives. Even people who have had a good life and have enjoyed luxury and comfort, they still develop a dark side. It's not just broken or hopeless people that develop these darker aspects growing up. Someone's light side, as you could say, might appear cool, calm, collected, happy, joyful, bright. On the outside, they'll be powerful and confident, but their dark side will hold their insecurities, their perversions, their fears, or their insecurities, or their irrational hatreds. Their shadow will lash out and get angry if they feel that their perception of security or self-importance is challenged in some way. Though they may appear to be cool and powerful on the outside, on the inside, they're secretly a mess. For example, Jerry Seinfeld, the most successful comedian of all time. He was the star of the most watched television show for like 10 years or something like that. He's a billionaire living on Long Island. He has everything that he could ever want, yet his shadow side reveals itself often as he displays insecurity about maintaining the perception that he is the best comedian.
Lasted how long?
9 years, 180 episodes.
You gave it up, right?
I did.
They didn't cancel you. You canceled them.
You're not aware of this?
No, I'm asking you.
You think I got canceled? Are you under the impression that I got canceled?
Have I hurt you, Jerry?
I thought that was pretty well documented.
Is this
still CNN?
Don't most shows go down a little?
Most people do also. But, yeah, no, I went off the air. I was the #1 show on television, Larry. Do you know who I am?
Jerry can't just be happy that he's the best. He can't just be happy that he's the most successful. He can't just be happy that he's filthy rich and set up for life. He can't just be happy that all of the people watching him at home know that he's the best comedian, the most successful, and was on the best show of all time. That's not good enough for him. Jerry actually gets angry when his perception of his recognition for those things is mildly challenged.
75 million viewers last episode.
Boy, you don't take it so bad.
Well, that's the big difference between being canceled and being #1.
Okay, I'm sorry. We'll be right back.
Jeez.
B-movie opens. B-movie
Can we get a resume in here for me?
B-movie opens tomorrow.
He's not cool. He's not grateful. He's not powerful. Jerry is neurotic about everyone's perception of his success, allegedly. Now, there are a ton of people who, from an outside perspective, appear to have achieved greatness in their lifetime. They've achieved great success, and they've had to defeat a ton of things and people along the way to get where they are. But on the inside, they're empty. They're struggling, because they don't have a great understanding of who they really are. I know that this is counterintuitive, but the greatest lesson that I learned in my life is that there is no great mountain you need to climb. There are no massive armies you need to battle. There are no great villains or kings you need to defeat in order to achieve greatness in your life. No. In order to become the greatest and most powerful version of yourself, you have to defeat Tyler Durden. You have to turn inward on your own ego and destroy the parts of yourself that are holding you back. That's how you win in this lifetime. That's how you win the game. There's a reason why I mix fiction and ancient myths and pop culture into my work. Because simply describing facts about something does not make that thing real to everybody. Not everybody can absorb information and learn from it when things are described to them in a matter-of-fact way. But these stories and legends that I tell are like a shared experience to which we can all relate. When you tell a story about something, it's like we're all living those events together, feeling the emotions, the pain, and the struggle together. Like with Plato and Homer's Iliad. Adding fiction as an ingredient makes facts more real to the audience. It makes those events more real. And it makes the lessons that we can learn from those stories more potent and effective. In the film Fight Club, Tyler Durden might seem like he's cool. I know a lot of movie bros absolutely worship this character, but Tyler is not actually a desirable or an admirable person that we should all want to become. That's not the point of the film. Tyler Durden is just a coping mechanism created by Edward Norton. Tyler is false bravado mixed with a devil-may-care attitude that ultimately leads to the main character's self-destruction. Tyler Durden is all of Edward Norton's unchecked and negative qualities personified. When Tyler surfaces, Edward loses total control of himself. His perspective of reality completely changes in a negative way, in a self-destructive way. Tyler Durden might appear to be cool or desirable on the surface, as his fashionable exterior and his no fucks given attitude appears to the main character as a refreshing change from his daily boring life. And all of the people around Tyler appear to respect him and want to be him, which makes the main character Edward Norton feel more important and powerful. However, he's receiving that respect from a band of broken, lost, and angry men. People who abandon their paths of healing and self-discovery in their therapy groups, and instead they choose chaos and violence. They go down an evil path. A dark path. They all give in to their shadows. Fight Club ends with the main character coming to the realization that he has no control of his darker self. Edward becomes aware of all of the destruction that his shadow self has created, and he frantically tries to fix it, realizing that his only option to set things right and set himself free are to destroy Tyler Durden. The idea of the shadow self comes from the philosophy of psychologist Carl Jung. Carl Jung comes from around the same era of psychology trendsetting as Sigmund Freud, and Sigmund Freud was an absolutely insane lunatic with nonsensical fringe ideas. I mean, the dude projected his own Oedipus complex and sexual hang-ups onto all of humanity, and then played it off as if he was some sort of revolutionary mind. There's a reason why nobody uses Sigmund Freud anymore. So because Carl Jung came from the same era as Sigmund Freud, and both of their ideas are kind of equally fringe and out there, I can see why people would want to just dismiss Carl Jung wholesale for that reason. That makes a lot of sense. However, Carl Jung's work is still very popular today. Not so much with therapists in the field of psychology, but Carl Jung is very popular with individuals who are interested in diving deep in themselves, discovering themselves and fixing themselves. People who want to defeat the darker aspects of their personality. Carl Jung's ideas might not be a perfect form of psychology or therapy for that matter, but for people who are committed to understanding themselves, improving themselves, and achieving deeper forms of self-awareness, Carl Jung offers an extreme form of self-help. It's a philosophy that helps us defeat our own demons and to shed off all of the self-destructive and undesirable aspects of our personality that are hindering us, holding us back. Those negative qualities stop us from achieving greatness, stop us from achieving happiness and peace, or they even can just stop us from healing from our traumas. That part of yourself that got angry at me for bringing this subject up is going to try to tell you that all of your problems are external. That part of you is going to try to tell you that in order to achieve happiness, you have to defeat some villain or destroy some institution or organization that's oppressing you. I'm not saying that those problems aren't real. They're still very real, but you are never going to be able to properly rise above those issues or defeat those villains until you learn to understand yourself and destroy that darkness within you. We might be able to blame someone else for our pain. We might be able to blame something else for destroying us. But in the end, the responsibility to heal from those traumas is ours. Those demons are still our demons to defeat. This goes for our interpersonal issues especially. You might have gone years wondering why everybody is so mean to you, why everybody seems to hate you, why everybody always seems to lie to you or is dishonest. You might always wonder why nobody ever shows you love or compassion in your life. Maybe you've struggled to understand why nobody ever shows you any value. But believe it or not, you may discover that the answers to some of those questions lies deep within your own shadow self. You might discover that it's you that is always mean to everybody. You're an asshole. You lie constantly and avoid being sincere and honest with the people in your life. And you probably aren't showing love, compassion, understanding, or humanity to the people around you.
I felt that Jung should tell me what I should do, whether I should write a book, whether I should get a divorce, what I should do. And he wouldn't. And so I got mad at him. I said, why is everybody so mean to me? And he said, why are you so mean to everybody? So I stormed out. You got what I said there. I said to him, why is everybody so mean to me? And he said, why are you so mean to everybody? That was the trigger point. I was gone for a year. Every now and then I'd sit down at the typewriter and write him what a son of a bitch I thought he was. How when I first got to Europe, everyone thought he was a charlatan. I thought he was too. And he was the most conceited, vain man, and I really had a great time. And
you sent all these letters?
Sent the letters, of course I did. And I thought, I hope he drops dead of a stroke. I felt very good. I just felt fine. When I can get mad, I can lose 5 pounds just by getting mad. It's just the adrenaline goes, and I just think, it's the opposite of poor little me. And I don't care, let it all go, stuff it up. I don't care what happens. Then one morning I woke up and I began to laugh. I thought, for God's sake, what's been going on here? What a jackass you. And suddenly I realized, sure, he really hit it.
To some degree, those behaviors that you're seeing directed at you by other people are a mirror of your own behaviors. As humans, we have a tendency to project the qualities that we don't like about ourselves onto other people. The things that we hate the most in other people tend to be the things that we hate the most in ourselves. That's the main reason we have to learn to reveal those shadow aspects in ourselves. This is one of the ways that our shadow secretly humiliates us. You may believe that you're convicting other people by pointing out negative aspects in their personality, when in reality, you are just revealing yourself. You're revealing your own failures. On the other hand, I should mention that once you actually start to improve yourself, when you start to learn to heal and adopt love and compassion and sincerity into your life, once you stop being such an asshole, the people that used to be your friends will likely start to disappear. And after some time, better people will start coming into your life to take their place. When you start to raise yourself up, you'll only be able to get along with people who can meet you on that level. We've been taught our entire lives through media, stories, films, books, that we have to look externally to find our problems. We have to look externally to find happiness and greatness. Luke Skywalker had to join the rebellion and destroy the Death Star to become a hero. And though to some degree that's true because society is going to love you more for your sacrifices and your altruism, but that's not how things really work in reality. Even though our efforts to save the world and change humanity might be seen as heroic from the outside, they might be celebrated by other people, achieving that kind of greatness is not actually going to fix any of those aspects of our shadow self that are destroying us. They will not fill that emptiness deep within us. And it sure as hell is not going to heal your wounds or fix your traumas. You might destroy the Death Star and become a hero tomorrow. However, if you were empty and broken before that, you're still going to be empty and broken after. Our biggest enemies and hurdles in this life are not external. We have to learn to look internally and save ourselves first. It's like they tell you on an airplane. Please be sure that your breathing apparatus is safely secured to your face first before trying to help anybody else with their mask. Or as Jesus put it, before pointing out the splinter in your neighbor's eye, remove the log from your own. And the same goes for obtaining a better connection or a better relationship with God or heaven or whatever. You have to look inward to find God. God is not out there. You're not going to find heaven out there. God is not in the people or the buildings or the institutions of man. To develop a better relationship with God, you have to go inward. And especially that goes for you too. Stop looking outward. Stop looking at the rest of the world. You're not going to find yourself out there. Your higher self and your connection to your higher self is within you. You have to dive deep within yourself to find yourself, to save yourself and bring yourself out to the world. There are a lot of people that we're constantly told are great or have achieved greatness for their feats or their accomplishments. And yes, in a way, those people are great for those accomplishments. But being the fastest runner, the most deadly hunter, the most powerful warrior, or the best debater, or the richest business owner, or the smartest inventor, or the most influential celebrity doesn't really mean that much if you don't actually know yourself. If you don't actually understand who you really are and build a deep relationship with yourself. You have to stop avoiding yourself. It might feel like if we get rich, cover our walls in achievements, and gain the love and adoration of other people, that will somehow fix us. That it will fill that hole in your life. But that's not going to work. In reality, all that you'll do is you'll end up burying yourself in those things. You'll lose total sight of who you are. All that greatness that others see in you will only serve as a mask for your true self. The world is designed to trap us in our negative emotions. The world is set up to trap us in our darker selves. A lot of things here are designed to hurt us, or even just make us angry. But you do not have to fall into that trap. Some people are just addicted to their darker self. Some people totally identify with their shadow and refuse to let it go. Some people enjoy being stuck in their lower emotional states. Like, for example, those content creators that make rage bait videos about every tiny little thing that happens in the media. The people that are addicted to that content are trapped in a spiral of negativity that is set to destroy them. Stop getting sucked in by negativity. Stop getting sucked in by negative content. Stop using your enemy to affirm your addiction to hatred. Stop using the media to affirm your addiction to suffering. Stop using social media to affirm your addiction to insecurity. Stop using external stimuli as an excuse to stay stuck in your negative emotions. When you recognize that those external stimuli are not a match to your desired emotional state, those external stimuli are not a match to your desired vibrational state, that's not a sign that you should engage with those things. That's your sign to disengage. That should be your sign to remove yourself from those things. Some people just stay there and spin their tires in the mud over their hatred for those things. Just stop. Don't do that. Learn to disengage from the negativity of the world. You do not have to give your attention to everything that hurts you. Those things cannot affect you if you do not give your attention to them. That's your power. That's the power you have here. You choose what you attach yourself to. When you look away, when you disengage, those things lose their power over you. Reclaim your power. Reclaim yourself. Focus your energy on yourself and the important people in your life. Do that, and everything will change. Let it go. That's the most powerful thing that you can do here. Just let it all go.